Welcome back to Capitol Review. And President-elect Donald Trump and his administration take over in January. He says that he has a big list of issues he plans to tackle on day one. Now, could one of those issues be cannabis reform? Gretchen Gailey is with Project Champion. She's a longtime advocate for cannabis reform. Gretchen, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for joining us. We have a new administration, as you know, coming in next month. President-elect Trump also has the House and the Senate. How do you see that impacting cannabis reform?
Well, honestly, I see it as very hopeful for cannabis. I know a lot of people think Republican and don't really see the connection of how they're going to advance cannabis. But being in charge of all of the different branches now, there's truly nowhere for the administration or for lawmakers to hide. Either they're going to pass cannabis or they're not. There's no way to sit back and say Democrats are the problem or Republicans are the problem. They're all on the same side now. And so it's their time to actually try and move something forward. And we hope that they will do so probably in the next 2 years is our big hope.
This will be President-elect Trump's second go-around. Do you recall if much was done to advance the movement during the first Trump administration?
Not much was done to advance it, no. But what he basically did was sat on his hands like many other presidents have, including Obama and Biden. They just allowed the market to continue to flourish as it was in the very convoluted states-only markets. But that was a good thing. He didn't come in as an enforcer and try and shut it down. Jeff Sessions, who was his attorney general, who's no fan of cannabis, he also did not go in to shut it down. And a number of the folks that he has proposed for his cabinet so far that are going to be in key positions to influence him on cannabis policy are vastly either pro or not against. We don't have any major prohibitionists this time around, so we do see good things for it.
It's still early, Gretchen, but have there been any signals so far coming from the incoming administration or key people that are going to be part of the administration that give you optimism that some good things can get done?
Well, right now we are currently going through an ALJ hearing that was put into place in the last administration that are looking to reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Just this past week, that got started with Judge Mulrooney, who by all accounts, everyone seems very fair in moving forward with this process. And so we see a number of great things happening for us. RFK, he may be a little bit out there on things, but luckily for us, he is out there for cannabis. And as part of being the head of the HHS, he has a lot of great bearing on this and what is going to happen. Just prior to the election, I believe it was towards the end of September, President Trump himself put out I guess it's not a tweet anymore, but a message on his Truth Social platform, basically that said he was endorsing cannabis, he was endorsing safe banking, which has been a long, hard slog trying to get this legislation done. And so we're hopeful that he will truly be the next great co-sponsor of this legislation. I keep telling folks who are like, oh, we need more co-sponsors. There's no better co-sponsor than Donald Trump. If he is behind this legislation, I see things getting done with cannabis.
You know, Gretchen, you've been around the Washington scene for quite some time now. We hear the words common sense legislation thrown around. Does that apply to cannabis? Can common ground be found on some key things regarding cannabis reform?
I think absolutely there can be common ground found on cannabis. I mean, if you ask anyone in this industry, it doesn't matter who they are, what people want to see are regulations. They want to see good tax policy. They want to be putting out good, clean, safe product for consumers and patients to use. The last thing we want is for anyone to get hurt or sick. And a lot of the legislation that we've been looking at, possibly coming up in this administration, will be a more state rights approach to it, where the states will get to decide for themselves whether or not they want adult use in their area. And so we are hopeful that that will resonate with Republicans, and it'll also resonate with the American public. I mean, we have seen the polls for years that have said that everyone is very on board cannabis. I mean, it's over 60% approval rating in this country. There aren't many issues that get 60% across the board. And so Americans want to see adult use. We want to see our businesses flourish. We want good policy. We want good, safe cannabis for people to consume and for patients to have and for everyone just to have access to the plant. I think there are many wonderful things about this plant that just need to be embraced. People don't understand. There needs to be a lot more education around the plant and what's going on. And we think that people will begin to see what it has done for so many patients across the country, and the added value that it can bring to many lives.
Gretchen Gailey, thank you so very much for joining us on Capitol Review.
Thanks, Mark.